I would like to introduce a poll. It's an interactive way for us to engage with you and see what your opinions are. We'll have two polls during this presentation and we'd love to see your responses. In a moment, you should see a new window populate that says polling. Go ahead and click on the polling phrase and answer this question. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that. All right, and I'll give you about 45 seconds to complete this. And the question is, how did you find your last job? Was it A, newspaper, advertisement, print or online? B, a help wanted sign. You know, you drive down the boulevard and you see help wanted signs posted windows or on banners, billboards. Was it online, like on a job board? Minnesota Works, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, etc. And networking, traditional, family, friends, colleagues, or social media, LinkedIn and Facebook. So we're about 10 seconds left. So as you submit your answers, I encourage you to turn up that volume. Find a comfortable but not too comfortable place to set up for the day. Free yourselves from those distractions, as this workshop can change your perspective on how you may find your next position. I want to let you know that your questions do matter to us, and we will be getting to them at the appropriate time during the session. We are hopeful that this workshop will help you recognize different methods for job searching, identifying perks with the state labor exchange, Minnesota Works, compared to other third-party job boards you probably are more familiar with, such as Indeed, JobScan, Job Hero. You know, you can name 1,000. The importance of balancing job search strategies: improve your current networking efforts, cold calling, your elevator speech, informational interviews, and demonstrate how the role of social media, although ever changing, is here to stay. As that first poll closed, what are your thoughts? Did you expect it? Hopefully you can see these results. Are you surprised them? Do you feel the sampling is an accurate forecast where you should invest your time and energy, increase your chances of finding the next position? So of the, oh geez, we had quite a few participate. We had the top winner, networking. 62 of the 100 chose networking. 35 job boards, and 3 newspaper advertising. Holy cow, that's impressive results. Networking, as you can see, is the most important thing. Yeah, oh, poll results. Apply. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there for you. Apparently I was missing a checkbox, so I just throw that out there. Thank you for letting me know, Ann. We can understand that people find work from any different advertised sources. That is why we encourage our job seekers to focus their search or industry to a career-specific job board that yields results. If you're in IT, I would say choose, let's go with dice.com. If you're jumping over into, hey, I want to make 6 digits every year, maybe the ladders.com. There are certain job boards that are more specific for health industry, for government positions, you name it. You just have to narrow your search and start using your local career force to find the best one for you. Set up certain days to cruise those different websites and allow yourself ample time to network. A common problem we've encountered with so many job seekers are they tend to have tunnel vision when it comes to looking for work. They narrow their search criteria to a phrase that might be outdated, or they search by occupation that is declining. Therefore, we encourage job seekers to look beyond that job title. In the chat, I'm going to throw a useful tool in there to find similar job titles that might be more beneficial for you in your job search and finding other occupations. Other job seekers fall in love with the idea of ease of applying online with a click of the button. Here's a great question for the chat, an impromptu question. For you who are attending, how many of you are applying for 10 to 15 or more jobs a day? If you're applying for 10 to 15 more jobs a day, this might be accurate for you. Prioritize what you find and avoid mass applying. Avoid that quick click of the button. Yes, it's easy. You can apply through Indeed, you can apply through LinkedIn, Minnesota Works, go to the company website. You're going to have better results. It's like fishing. Your resume is a hook, and what you put in it is the bait. And then you can add the fancy stuff like the bells and whistles, the accomplished statements, the keywords, the buzzwords. That's going to be the jig. So it's just a good way for you to jump in there and provide quality over quantity. And so prioritize what you find. First, apply for those positions you know you are a great fit for. Not those silly quick apply feature that I just mentioned, but with a tailored resume that tells the appropriate story on how you are the right person for the position. If you are skimming the job boards and you find a dream job, verify that it is a true dream job. Don't use the links that are within the job posting. Instead, do your due diligence and research the position. It is always best to use caution on the internet. If there are no caution flags thrown regarding the position, respond immediately with a tailored resume and a cover letter through the company's website portal or employment portal. Unfortunately, closing dates are not written in stone. Some dates are assigned, but many private sector jobs will close the opportunity after so many results. I talked to a higher executive yesterday, and he was applying for a position, and he said, you know what, I saw it posted on LinkedIn, and before I even got my application submitted, and he was doing the quick apply feature, there was already 200 applicants. So that is crazy. So you got to really be on the game on some of these platforms, or go through the company portal, because you're going to have more success. To make myself stand out from those other applicants, I like to call and talk to the hiring authority directly regarding the position. I ask for a complete job description, not the job posting. There's two different things. Most of us see this 10 bullet point job posting that says, hey, here are the required skills. If you get the job description, you're going to see paragraphs about each of those skills, additional keywords to throw into your resume. It just makes yourself stand up stand out from the crowd, to save my best. Ask for a complete job description. If there is no luxury of connecting with the employer and applying, follow up with a phone call. Post submittal, typically 2 to 3 weeks. Currently, Minnesota Works is our state's largest labor exchange. More or less, it is an online job board. What separates this website from other familiar job boards such as ZipRecruiter, CareerBuilder, Indeed, or LinkedIn is that Minnesota Works is 100% free for all users, both the employers and job seekers alike. You see, most of the online job boards, anyone with a credit card can post a job. Only in Minnesota Works, employers who are looking to hire within Minnesota will be considered. In fact, all employers are heavily vetted prior to accessing Minnesota Works, which have been known to minimize the riff-raff scammers that we're all fearful of. As a job seeker, this is exciting. As a virtual caution flag that we're ready to throw at jobs that sound pretty darn good can be comfortably tucked back in our pocket as we cruise Minnesota Works, looking for our next opportunity. Currently, I just checked before the workshop, we had about 76,000 jobs listed today, and a little over 14,000 viewable resumes. And the cool thing is, of those 14,000, people could have 2 to 5 resumes on there, active resumes on that site. So in reality, we could probably only see 9 to 10,000 people that have resumes posted. Even better, these resumes do not need to be in a chronological format, which is organized by your most recent job being listed first. Instead, you can build a resume that focuses on your past skills and highlight those jobs that are relevant in your career, listing the employment date in a month tally versus listing the start and end date. Don't fall into that habit of just saying, oh, I got to put it like what it is. And this resume on Minnesota Works is not one you send to the employer. It is a resume for the employer to reach out to you, for them to see what skills you can bring to them. So it's not going to be your beautiful master resume. It's going to be a resume that is skill-based, heavy on skills, keywords in your industry, and job titles. I like to personally put it in optional skills to include, I go to ONET Online, and then I jump over to the job description or the position that I want to apply for. And then they have similar job duties, and I just copy and paste and throw those in there. Because maybe what I was called as a job title isn't the same as what other people call it. As you advance your job search, we understand that applications can be a barrier between you and the job you're aiming to get. A strategy I have found helpful on an open vacancy is put more effort towards applying than the average person. Do more. Take more time in your application. Review it. Make sure there's no errors. Avoid that quick apply feature. If a position is open, call. I saw in the chat, what do I do if I don't know the contact? Call, pick up the phone. Most of us have access to it. You can jump over to the career force and use their phone. Call to verify the position is still open. Nothing is more frustrating to a job seeker than creating a resume for a dream job that closed this past week or year. Ask to speak to the hiring manager who will be reviewing the resume. Get their position title and correct spelling of the name. This will help you decide if you want to draft a cover letter, because you can use that information when you submit your resume, because typically applications allow you to add additional attachments. And if possible, as mentioned before, ask for that full job description breakdown to be emailed to you. Even though many of us have found success in the past by looking for jobs online, moving forward, even in our polling that we did right away, moving forward, 75%, possibly even 80% of the jobs will be found through people you know. We encourage you to balance your online time with job searching activities such as attending conferences, networking events, volunteering, participating in group outings. If you're going on a league night, bowling league night, or dart night, or whatever it may be, axe throwing, juggling, I have no idea. But if you're going out on those, talk to people, socialize, and when they ask you, what are you up to? Say, I'm just cruising new adventures. I'm looking for new opportunities to explore in this industry. You're going to have more success. Before I move on, I want to open up the second poll of the day and the final poll and allow time for questions to be asked. This poll will be open for probably right around 30 seconds. So here is the polling question. How many people does the average person know? Is it 10 for A, B 50, C 150, 300 for D, or E 600 or more? I have to say this question always gets a varied response, and in the last year I've yet to see an agreed upon answer. So as you submit your final thoughts to this question, ask yourself, how many acquaintances do you have? And are you average? And it looks like we're having a varied response again, and I'll see if I can post this. I'm going to throw the poll results on there. And I have to say, I love that, Holly. How do you define no? That's why I left it as no. Your network is a lot bigger than you think. Try reaching out to past friends, families, coworkers, neighbors, and others who are genuinely interested in your well-being. Those are the ones who will be interested in your future success. But with the labor shortages that we've seen or experienced these past few years, employers are offering bonuses to their employees for referrals. Start spreading the word that you're open for new opportunities with your traditional network and on your social media network. Let others know that you're currently transitioning from one job to another and you're exploring those new opportunities or adventures. It is humbling to see how others will go out of their way to help you jumpstart your career by leveraging their personal network, which is crazy. So sorry, I missed that slide, but this is kind of what that slide is. You'll get a slide copy of all these, so you can look at that basically what I just told you. So considering all those additional factors of family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances, and others in your own network, it is easy to speculate the answer to our poll is in the hundreds. This doesn't mean that each connection um, is invested in your future, but it does shed light on the power of networking and how the right connections can make all the differences in job placement. Here's a rhetorical question to think about. Does your entire personal network know you're open for opportunities? How about your social? Have you gone up to your religious leader and let them know, hey, I'm currently in between jobs? That religious leader is a member of an organization that knows all their employees or followers. So the great thing about that is that person's going to say, hey, have you talked to Bill or Sue or Terry? They're going to really help you out in navigating the resources within your network that you didn't even know you had. Today, with the use of social media, I would theorize that it would take less than 5 connections to reach any one person on this earth. Everyone's heard the 6 degrees of separation. This is just to 5 easily, I would say, perfect. But to be impactful in your applications, go beyond simply applying. Find out who works there and connect the dots back to yourself. So LinkedIn is great because you can see, hey, this person's your first degree connection, second, third degree connection. By using LinkedIn, it's a powerful tool to really connect those dots. Robust job searching is about connection. It's not about perfection. There is no perfect job search strategy other than networking. Whether you are job searching online or looking through the help wanted pages, there is one strategy that separates itself from the rest, and it's called informational interviewing. We'll share what that means in the next few slides, but first, let's talk about the steps on how to get a meaningful conversation. Um, Sheila, what are the questions that we can address at this point?
Well, there's just a common one in the chat that maybe you can address before we move on. You were talking about, contacting someone at the organization or the company, and you addressed it a little bit, but
Mhm.
they're asking how you can contact the hiring manager, especially if it states no phone calls. What kind of steps can you take to
Oh,
connect?
so yeah, that's interesting. If you're local in that community, you can drive over there or take the train, metro, whatever it may be, to get over to that facility and just go in as a traditional job seeker and ask for an application. Um, Sometimes I've actually heard it quite often. You will get directed, hey, you got to go over to the website, but we can help you navigate it here. Or a person comes out and says, hey, come back here and I can help you fill it out. That person might be the hiring manager. You can also just call a company before they have any positions open. If you truly want to work there, let's say your dream job is working at the local mill, and that's 1 block away. You walk over there and just say, hey, can I have a cup of coffee with you? This informational interview, which we're actually getting to, is one way to really identify who to contact. There are websites out there. You can go to careeronestop.org, Business Finder. Sheila, if you can find that link, I usually don't talk about that, but it's a good opportunity that this question came up. Business Finder from Career One Stop. You can find out local employers in your region, who's the president, the CEO. You can go ahead and use LinkedIn to find more information about them. Click on their network, say, hey, I'm really interested in learning more about your journey as this type of employer. You can also jump on LinkedIn and type in HR behind an employer's name that you want to work for, and it'll yield people that work in HR in that particular organization if they're using it. So that's kind of one question. Hopefully I didn't confuse you any more than you may be, but if you have questions like that, definitely reach out to us at the Career Force. We'd be happy to field them. So let's jump over into the next slide on how to get to that informational interview. And the first step is becoming organized. You may find this to be very beneficial in your job search. Being organized is very helpful. Find an employer you want to speak to. And prepare some honest questions regarding their company or available positions. Write those questions down and maybe even create a script or something that is tangible with talking points. I personally rather be over prepared than under prepared and overwhelmed. Step 2, go ahead and before the call, practice out loud. Look at a mirror and see how you're talking. Talk to an animal, talk to your neighbor, talk to a wall, just talk, practice. It helps to hear how you sound, and it will help you to avoid too many filler words such as like, mm, those. Step 3, when the phone call is about to happen, find an environment free from distractions. When I call and talk to job seekers from across the state, hearing the TV in the background is amplified on the other end. So mute that TV, get away from the TV. I personally like the car, den, office, or bedroom. Please stay away from empty rooms such as an unfinished basement. It will sound as if you're in the bathroom, which causes an unpleasant echo and paints a picture that we, as interviewers, don't want to have. Step 4, dress for success. Not like a suit and tie or an extravagant gown, but comfortable jeans, a sweater, button down, or polo shirt. And finally, step 5, as you speak with the employer, smile. You sound happier and your voice fluctuates naturally. Those who are unable to see you speak can hear your smile, and the brain paints that wanted picture. And I'll throw those 5 little steps in there in the chat. If you followed those steps and you put a little extra effort into researching the employer, making a connection with them can come off less daunting. Networking should never start off with, what can you do for me? Or what jobs are available at your organization? Or how much do you pay? What are your benefits like? Or where do I apply? Those questions demonstrate your inability to do your research, and I, as an employer, will have to help you more in the future. If you want to impress that employer, have a lighthearted and brief conversation. Let them know that their time matters and that you would love to have a further discussion to learn more about the company beyond what the website or news articles state, and ask them for an informational interview. Stay positive. You may hear no more than yes. So here's a question for the chat. For those who have tried informational interviewing, have you found success? Have you found success with informational interviewing? Love to see your responses. Go ahead and throw those in the chat. Even though interviewing is part of this strategy, it is merely a casual conversation, usually scheduled during a coffee break. Success is found by those who are prepared for the meeting, dressed appropriately, prepared to direct the conversation, and have a shared interest in the company. As the conversation closes, follow up with a physical thank you letter and email expressing your excitement to learn more about their personal journey. And if possible, ask to connect with them on LinkedIn. So I saw a lot of no's this time. Usually I see a lot of yeses. So I'm not really surprised on that response on it. We did have a few yeses, not yet. I love that you're still pursuing it. The more you try, the more effort you put in. Don't just wait for those jobs to populate on LinkedIn. Do it before the jobs are popping out there. Have a conversation before an opportunity is posted. Use your network and find out who is the great person to talk to in that company. Those are some great strategies just to get your foot in the door, because an informational interview is that conversation. It shows you in your natural environment. It's not an expectation that you're going to get an interview or a job. You're just wanting to learn more about a company or organization or an individual who works with that company. From TikTok resumes to Instagram portfolios, job seekers are devoted to finding innovative approaches to get noticed. I've even seen news articles in California with a guy holding a billboard, recent graduate as an IT tech, and he got job offers because he made the news. Every day he stood out there and had resumes, and he just had that because people were going to work. It was actually kind of a brilliant idea, innovative. I love it. But for the most part, there are only three pillars of social media that really deserve our attention: LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, or as the new Elon Musk calls it, the X. The primary goal of social media is to help you connect with people, build communities and groups, share ideas and interests, and information regarding your chosen profession. What started as a simple service out of a garage has now evolved into a mandatory part of our creative job search series. The benefits of using social networks to grow your professional brand in terms of relationship building, portfolio creation, resume building, and all are endless. LinkedIn. Of those three, LinkedIn is the only professional networking site. You can apply for jobs through LinkedIn, and recruiters use LinkedIn to find potential job candidates. Even employers do as well. Facebook, Twitter are more so private social media networking sites. We use these websites to express our personal beliefs and share sometimes not so pleasant articles that might be leaning one side or another. Be careful about what you post online. Consider Googling yourself to see what information comes up. And if you do find something concerning on Google, like your name is part of the top FBI's top 10 most wanted list, consider adding your middle initial. Many, if not all, employers will look up if considered for the position. I was just on an interview panel and we did that. We looked up on our final candidates just to see. And verify what they said was true. Check out the link in the chat box to see what your Minnesota Raps sheet might look like. I'll throw that in there. Perfect. All right, LinkedIn is no longer just a place to find people. It's a place of personal and professional growth, a place of business growth, a place of economic growth, and a place that makes a difference in our professional lives. It's a community where you can be inspired, build relationships, and discover unexpected opportunities. LinkedIn is not right for everyone. It is a tool in your job search arsenal. So we want you to explore these tools, see what those tools can add to your agenda on selling yourself, because you're a sales pitch, and this is a sales pitch that echoes it. Other people echo what you're trying to sell. So regardless, if you're avid or new to the LinkedIn platform, the first thing you need to do is update all your information on LinkedIn. In fact, you need to become a LinkedIn All-Star, as it increases your chances to be recognized tenfold. So here's a great question for the chat. Did you know that LinkedIn gives priority to those who have All-Star status? Did you know LinkedIn gives priorities to those who have an All-Star status? We got one yes, we got two yeses, and now here comes the no's. Achieving an all-star status is easier than you think. And many of us are probably already there that have 50 connections or more. You just need to spend time completing your profile and a bit of maintenance, keeping it up to date. Posting regularly on the job search, posting when you're not job searching, using it as a tool to express what your thoughts are on professional organizations, and how they're contributing to society. So to find out what level you are, go into your profile and look at your dashboard where you will see your current level at the top. There are 5 levels awarded by LinkedIn depending on your profile's level of completion. As you complete your profile and add more content and build up your profile strength increases. You start out as a beginner status, as an all-star, which is given to users with less than 50% profile completion. To get this, You only need to register your profile and fill out the basic information such as your name, your location, one job, and 3 skills, I believe it is. When you reach 50% profile completion, you achieve an intermediate status. The intermediate status is followed by advanced, which is given to users who have reached about 75% profile completion, and the expert is given to users who have reached 90%. The all-star status level is given to users who reached 100% profile completions. And LinkedIn has algorithms that give priorities to these users with complete profiles by ranking them higher in search results compared to users with incomplete profiles. So it's worth investing some time and tidying up your profile and making sure it is complete. And here are the 8 steps to get to that level on LinkedIn. Profile picture. Pretty simple, right? Just taking a picture and putting it on there. But there are certain pictures you need to avoid on LinkedIn. And here's a great question for the chat. Of the pictures that are on your screen right now, we have A, B, C, D, E, and F. Here, which one, which 2, which 3, what are your preferences? Which profile pictures stand out to you? Which one seems more professional? So I'll let you guys respond to that. And here is some recent data from LinkedIn. Only 51%. Remember how I said a beginner status is less than 50%? Only 51% of LinkedIn users have a completed profile picture. We understand status, starting something can be intimidating, such as LinkedIn that you might not be familiar with or confident in. But if it's used right, LinkedIn is worth your time and investment. If you need motivation to finish, or if you need someone to jump out there and saying, hey, you're doing a great job, here's some additional tidbits I can share with you, reach out to the Career Force, ask for someone to review your profile, and or set deadlines, or write it down and post-it notes, hang it on your computer, or whatever you have access to do a LinkedIn from. You know, every day, first thing you do is, you know, read an article about your chosen industry and go ahead and share that article with your network using hashtags and your thoughts on it. There's so much you can do with LinkedIn. So let's go to the profile picture. Having a high quality, and a lot of these responses are either fully correct or partially correct that we've seen. Having a high quality profile picture is important to getting noticed on LinkedIn. Having an image on LinkedIn maximizes your profile views by 21 times than those who do not have one. Looking at the chat, we can see that everyone has an opinion on which picture is the best. So let's go ahead and say what I believe the pictures are the best. And they're going to be B and C. And most of us said B, C, and I think a few of us said F as well. So A, what's in his cup? Is he a scientist or in a frat? B and C, excellent quality and compelling light. D, busy background. E, poor lighting. And F, head. The head is kind of chopped off. It's right above the eyebrows. You know, it's a great picture, but there's just something missing there, and having a little more would be more professional. So she could switch her picture to be a little further down. But if you need someone to take that picture, the Career Force, we can take those pictures. We don't have that professional camera, but most of us walk around with a professional camera at our hip, and we use it as a thing to call. So if you got a really nice camera and you need someone to take a good picture, outside lighting, such as coming from this window, gives a good directional force to the light. Make sure it's an appealing picture or format. Don't have something that looks like just a plain white background. Have something a little interesting, a bookcase at a library. That'd be kind of cool. Even though my public LinkedIn picture is more playful and energetic than professional, it clearly shows my face. It is well lit, ideally with daylight, as I said, and it is a clear representation of who I am as a person. But if I were looking for new opportunities, really buckling down, I would probably try to get more professional images with blurred background, high quality, image portrait of myself. Here's something I recently found out. Some state-sponsored career fairs advertise free LinkedIn headshots. They actually have a photographer that jumps out there and takes pictures. So that's kind of cool. Your goal with a headline is to appear in more searches and articulating your value proposition. There is no magic formula when it comes to a perfect headline. Your headline should align with what it is you are searching for or trying to achieve on LinkedIn. Ask yourself, who do you want to find you? What are they searching for? Answer those questions when writing your headline. Step 3 is probably one of the easiest ways to get closer to that all-star status, go from that beginner status to the intermediate. And that is just providing your industry and location. This step is pretty easy. When editing your profile, make sure to enter your country, your postal zip code of preference that you want to be working in, and your current industry. These tell the recruiters where you reside in a zip code, not your street address, and what industry you're interested in. A lot of recruiters will search for job candidates using LinkedIn, using the industry and location settings. So if you leave this blank, you'll be left out of the search results. For the experience section, you will need to include your most current position, plus 2 prior positions. According to Forbes, LinkedIn members with current positions are discovered 16 times more in recruiter searches, and their profile views increased by 29%, or times, I should say. The experience points here, just like on your resume, should be achievement-based and targeted towards your desired job or field. You don't have to have your accomplishments with high numbers and all that stuff in this. Have it more geared as saying, this is what I can bring to your organization. Increased sales, demonstrated abilities, stuff like that is going to be more powerful than what you put on your resume, because it's going to capture the attention as a transferable skill for that individual who's looking to recruit you. So use your resume as an inspiration, a guide, but make sure to revise any copy and paste errors if you do upload your resume, because it might not look as nice on your profile. Same with LinkedIn or Minnesota Works. It just doesn't upload right. Step 5, include 5 skills. To achieve all-star status, you need to include at least 5 skills in your skills section. LinkedIn reports that users with 5 skills or more are contacted by 33 times more by recruiters. Include skills you're good at and skills related to keywords employers are using to find candidates. An easy way to find which keywords go to your ideal role and look through 5 to 10 job postings on LinkedIn. After a while, you'll start noticing certain words popping up repeatedly that you can use for your skill section. Another thing you could use is AI. Artificial intelligence is out there. It's not going to go away. Just say, hey, what are the top 5 professional skills, transferable skills, and soft skills needed to be a workforce development specialist? And see what comes up. Step 6, out of all the sections in this post, as a wordsmith, a resume writer of 10 years, this for me was the hardest section to nail down. Before 2023, drafting that compelling summary took time, energy, revisions, and lots of coffee. But with that artificial intelligence, whether you're using Google Bard or if you're using Microsoft Bing or ChatGPT, whatever your preference is, crafting a compelling summary using those tools can take a few moments to create. It's available to all end users, such as you and I. What took hours to craft this summary took only a few moments when I used AI. I used what I put in there and said, make this better using these type of words. I entered a prompt and it came out with a really great prompt. I had to go through it like 4 or 5 different times, test different websites. In fact, after I did all that stuff, 80% of the content written in my about statement was creatively borrowed from AI. This tool unraveled my career highlights. It organized my thoughts and added some humor that connected to my headline. But if you are a self-proclaimed Luddite, a person who's opposed to new technology or ways of working, here are some conventional ways to create a strong summary. An opening statement that clearly shows why you're on LinkedIn, a summary of work experience, and your most impressive and relevant skills. Make sure you include relevant keywords here to increases the chance of appearing in recruiter searches. A few bullet points focused on your achievements rather than your duties. You can quantify your achievements with numbers and even start your bullets with an action or verb to demonstrate your value. A closing statement about what types of opportunities get you out of bed, get you excited, and what kind of roles someone should get in touch for you. Be sure to include your contact information here. If they click on the About Me statement and read that, that's where they can find the contact information. Otherwise, they can try to reach out to you through a message. But having it there, if you're actively working, that is where it's encouraged to go. Step 7, the biggest benefit of adding education skills is it gives you an opportunity to connect beyond or connect by individuals from different alumni. So for that individual at the very beginning of this workshop said, hey, I want to connect with individuals from different states. Well, type in the company you're from and then search by people. This is kind of similar with the schooling. Jump into it and just use your education and say, hey, from my high school diploma, I know these potential are recommended to me. College, same sort, as well as work experiences. This section is also especially important if you're a recent graduate or a student. To reach all-star status, you have to do those 7 steps in this final one. You need at least 50 connections. You can connect with others by sending them an invitation or by accepting their invitations. You can also jumpstart your connections by allowing LinkedIn to match you up with people from your email address book. Another way to start is simply by using the search feature and find a company that you used to work for or that you know people work at, ex-coworkers from different states, whatever it may be, and establishing connections and interacting is a core part of this. So reaching out to them and saying, hey, Joe, I don't know if you recall me, but I really appreciate the mentorship you provided while you're at XYZ company. So that's a great way to do it. Here's a direct quote from the CEO of LinkedIn. Every minute on LinkedIn, and I love this, almost 200 people join. 9,000 connections are made. 4,500 applications are submitted, and anywhere around 3 to 5 people get a job. That's every minute. Networking is the key to job search success, and it's difficult, even under the best circumstances. But it looks like there's perfect time for questions. So Sheila, what are the questions you're seeing?
Oh, Sam, you have a lot of questions here. We'll see if we can get through a few before you go to the next slide. First of all, a couple of people are asking, do you need LinkedIn Premium to have better success?
It all depends on the person and what kind of goal they're looking for. If they have the ability to fork down, $100+ a year, and they're looking for that $100,000 job, LinkedIn Premium gives you access to recruiters. It kind of, it puts a little button on yours, a gray button or a platinum button, I think, on your profile picture, and it gives you ultimate preference above others who are just free. I do the free version. For veterans, you get a free year of LinkedIn Premium if you request it. So for those veterans out there.
Okay, and then how do you check your all-star status on the app?
So on the app, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I know if you go under like your settings, if you have 50 connections or more, a profile picture, three skills on your about me or the about me, everything completed, you're at all star status. Um, but if you don't have those 7 or 8 steps completed, then you're probably looking at expert level or a little less.
Okay, and then someone wants to know, how do I remove my last job from the headline? It shows my name and the job title, property manager, and the management company, and I don't
Yes,
work there anymore.
absolutely. Transitioning from basically. So that headline profile, you click on you like from the app or the desktop app, whichever one you're using, you'll see a little edit. You have to be signed in. Once you click on that edit, you can remove that headline, as you called it, and put it into whatever you choose. Like, hey, this is the skills that I want to bring to the company. So these are the job titles I'm seeking. It's best to call if you need additional help. We'll walk you right through it.
Okay. And then let's see. If someone is trying to change careers entirely, how would you list that with regards to the industry and location sections?
So explore new opportunities. You're going to have a lot of transferable skills. The headline would have to kind of focus on exploring new opportunities in this sector or this industry, and then make your resume that about me or the about me tell them that you're switching from this to this, but you have transferable skills no matter what job you had. Even um a elephant poop picker upper has transferable skills.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that we can find, and if you don't know what your transferable skills are, go ahead and just peruse those job openings that are out there that in the industry you want. And if you say, I've done that, those are transferable skills. Go ahead and put those on your resume if they're true or about your experiences.
Okay. Do you have time for more questions, Sam? Or
Sure. Yeah.
okay. Okay. How do you get to the QR code on the LinkedIn app?
That's an interesting one. I've never had that. I know how to create a QR code for your LinkedIn account. GoQR.me is one of my favorite ones to go. You go to that website, and then there's I believe it starts with an email, but then there'll be a globe. You go to that globe, and then you just paste that QR code, and then you can download it for free. It's PNG, JPEG, size 400, 1600 pixels if you want to throw it on a billboard. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. But I don't know about the QR code. I will look into that, and it'll be out on the message.
Okay. And then in the location section you were talking about, what if I'm searching for a job across multiple states and I'm open for relocation?
Put it right away in your headline. Relocating, planned relocation. There are so many different strategies to throw that out there.
Mm.
If you did hybrid or remote, throwing that as the type of experience you have. And I love that people are jumping in there and saying, "Hey, there's the search bar." So I love the comments that are coming in. So yep, I would just throw on there open for relocation or preferred to relocate to organizations' needs.
Okay. And this question's been asked a couple times. Is it bad to have too many skills listed on LinkedIn?
I don't know why, because skills can be found through LinkedIn. So if I was searching for a skill, now I wouldn't want to say yo-yo master or anything like that. But if it's relevant to your industry, having those skills are important. And we're about ready to talk about endorsements. So Sheila, I think we're going to jump into this, and we'll hit what questions we can address at the end. So having people endorse you is going to be the best thing. But networking while unemployed can be a little uncomfortable. If this struggle is real for you, networking while unemployed is not as hard as it may seem. In fact, there are a few simple strategies you can do on LinkedIn to make the whole process easier and more productive. When LinkedIn first became mainstream in 2010, you probably received an unintentional acceptance into joining LinkedIn. Um, if you have 25 connections or less and you haven't used LinkedIn in the last decade, go ahead and start a fresh new LinkedIn. You can do it with a new email, and begin growing your network. Let's let the site walk you through those basic questions, identifying information, the headline, work experience, education, and possibly explore your past email addresses. I think you can have multiple email addresses in there that they can grab those connections and say, do you know this person? Would you like to reach out to this person? But if you're going to reach out to them, have an introduction that jumps out and says, hey, this is me. We used to do this together. Come connect with me. It's a lot better than saying, I'd like to invite you to my network. In 30 minutes or less, you'll have an online presence that backs up the content of your resume. If you have an established network or you're growing that network, click on the connections and scroll through all of your connections, of those second and third degree suggested connections. Add a personal note and a short statement of how you know each other. And if relevant, view their profile and endorse them for the skill you have witnessed. I just checked my account. I think I'm at 500 first degree connections and well over 400,000 second degree connections I could be introduced to. You can add a personal note, and I always encourage this, a personal note when submitting a recommendation for a connection. Before it is sent, don't go on their profile. You actually have to navigate into their profile and do it. If you do it on the outside where you're just looking through people's names and like, oh, I know that person, connect, you don't get the choice of adding a personal note. Add a note to everyone that you apply for. I don't accept invitations if they don't have a note on how we meet. So that's a good thing to recognize, is just having a personal note saying, hey, I attended your creative job search social media. I found it informative, XYZ. I would love to establish a connection with you and learn from your skills. No worries. So those are some options that you can do. Give them an opt-out opportunity. LinkedIn has over 830 million members and 58 million registered companies. That's a lot. A strategy I employ is to follow the companies that I desire to work for. Click to see people who have experience within that company. Maybe there is a hidden connection, and begin a conversation with those who are in the HR, management, or a past connection. If you do just a little research, those who have LinkedIn Premium will see that you dropped by. And if you have LinkedIn Premium, you can kind of like say, I don't want people to know that I dropped by. I'm just cruising and seeing if I want to work there. Another strategy I've used when actively seeking is to share the company's articles. This is a really easy way to do it. If you can invest 5 minutes, follow those companies, and share their articles, comment on their comments. Bringing that out, you're going to start showing up as, hey, this person's actively searching, and you're no longer a name on a resume, you're a person. So that's great. And content. Speaking of posts, increase your LinkedIn traffic by sharing those articles that are relevant to your profession. I've mentioned this once or twice, I think. Try adding a hashtag to the article before publishing. Another strategy is engage with your connection with a name drop in the comments. So throw in a person's name that you know is in that industry and saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this? You can also access tons of accessible opportunities. And I know we're kind of at time, and I want to allow time for questions. So we're briefly going to go through a few of these. You can include videos, hashtags, and incorporating an interview prep tool, which is really exciting. So I'm going to put a little more time. So I'm not going to hold offense to you. Like I said, I think this is being recorded. So if you need to drop off and get to another appointment, I appreciate it. If you want to stay for the conversation, I'd love to have you. With video being the next mega trend, LinkedIn has added a more human way to connect sharing by introducing stories along with other social media giants. This is allowing account holders to replace those essential water cooler moments with a short clip. And for those moments when a face-to-face meeting is the best way to get things done, they have also added a video call over Teams, BlueJeans by Verizon, or Zoom directly through a message thread. So you can have a perfect place to do an informational interview with someone from Kentucky um, through LinkedIn. How professional is that? With the influx of young users joining the platform, is catering to those needs with video elevator speeches. To add a video elevator speech, tap on your profile photo through the mobile app. This is only available through the mobile app. Even if you have a camera on your laptop or other feature, if you don't have the app, you can't do it. So tap on your profile video, and then you can introduce yourself with a 30-second video. So if you're transitioning jobs, as one of those questions we had earlier, this could be a good opportunity to say, hey, as a past director in manufacturing, I'm looking to bring my diverse skill sets into healthcare as a XYZ. You go into what you want to do. After sharing that video, add a hashtag when posting content. You want to be searchable when creating content for any social media post that you want traction. We encourage adding a few hashtags with a simple phrase or word, 3 at most. You can do 5. But if you have a post that's this, put it in here, this long, paragraph long of just hashtags, it's not welcoming to the end user. Hashtags is a useful tool for networking, finding job opportunities, and sharing your own job search to get noticed by employers who are also using social media to recruit. How do hashtags work? And what's the best way to use them? If you're familiar, use platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. You probably are familiar with it, but a hashtag is essentially this pound sign right here, followed by a phrase with no spaces. Here are some common ones: hire me, resume tips, career progression, career change, open to work. You can go to the AI that we talked about earlier and say, hey, AI, what are the top hashtags to use as a job seeker on the LinkedIn portal, on Facebook portal? And they will come out with, hey, these from this website to this website to this website, these are the ones that we recommend. So use AI. It's a great tool, and you can also use us. We're even a better tool because we will give you the information and show you where to find it. For the longest time, being out of work was shameful, and job seekers were apprehensive about sharing something so personal. Today, it's a 180-degree turnaround. Job seekers are transparent and honest in their posts. Your network wants to know you. They want to hire you. They want to support you. Therefore, your network of connections, employers, and recruiters should know that you are open for work. When this feature was launched at the beginning of the pandemic, April of 2020, I believe, early results showed members with open to work photo frames, such as the one on your screen, are receiving 40% more emails from recruiters and 20% more messages from the LinkedIn community. Whether you choose to use this banner or not, we do encourage using the next feature, as you'll be able to engage with the network even further. But I do want to talk about the open network. One more tidbit. I just talked to a person who got a job up in Sheila's neck of the woods, and he's from Alexandria. He was director level, and he put that open to work for AIM. And the next day, he had recruiters calling him. So it does work. Make sure that you establish it. And then I'm really excited this last one. And yeah, some people can say it's a negative connotation. That's why I left it as you get to choose, but it is successful in most industries. I'm really excited to share this last tool as we finish out our time together. So if you have any burning questions, please get them in the chat. And remember that your local career force has a network of professionals that are ready to assist you with any of your job search questions, career exploration, whatever it may be. We're here to support you. Navigating to this next session from your LinkedIn homepage is somewhat confusing to talk about it. So I'll give you the link and a quick rundown. First thing, sign into LinkedIn. Once you sign into LinkedIn, select jobs. That will be the briefcase at the top of your homepage, and then you click interview prep. If you want a direct link, look in the chat link or check your email following our time today. I think tomorrow the Career Force will send it out there. The categories. So the cool thing about this is you can do mock interviews, unravels those questions employers ask and why they ask them. Categories. If you feel the common questions are not the normal ones you would encounter in your profession, if you're an accountant or if you're an engineer, you can actually select from categories and narrow your job search to 14 additional industries. The common ones, the 26 common ones, are there as well. So I really like this feature, and here's why. You can gather feedback. For us who are, a little shy about going out there or just need practice, you can get feedback once you have reviewed the questions. Whoops, sorry. Once you have reviewed the questions and committed to a response, you can either type the response up or record a video. So you can use this as a record a video as well to gather feedback. The artificial intelligence will monitor your filler words and how fast you talk. You can also share it with your first level degree of connections. I love that part. And ask for the feedback to the answer or how you delivered it. So you can work that question, keep on responding to that question. Once you feel comfortable, like, heck yeah, this is great. I'm going to send it over to Joel Blow, and he's going to tell me I'm great. Or he's going to be honest and say, you really need help. And then finally, the discussion topics. Using automation tools in the hiring process is nothing new. And there is a good chance that your application to jobs have been screened by a machine or artificial intelligence, a robot, applicant tracking system, I believe is what it's called, ATS, looking for relevant keywords or seeking to rank candidates. LinkedIn's own recruiting system have used AI tools to suggest candidates for years. There are so many tools that you can use in researching companies and finding careers. In fact, there are endless topics that we could have selected to share regarding LinkedIn today, but what we did share can have an immediate impact on your job search. And if you are new to LinkedIn, or if you're interested in joining and would like to create an account, we did create a video of how to create a virtual and a video on LinkedIn and how to create it. It's through our virtual and interactive site, which walks you through the process and gives you some additional best practices. Sheila, we're at the end. Thank you for all joining us, but I want to know if there are any burning questions that want to be addressed. I have time, and if you want to stay on, we'll try to answer them.
I'm sure they're all burning questions, Sam. One that came up a couple times, though, is you talk about the summary section on LinkedIn. Is that the About section?
No, the About Me section is a little different than the summary, or, well, it could have changed names. I think the About Me, I think you're right. It is the summary. I'm pretty sure it's About Me. So it could be. I'll get back to you. I'll look at it again. I haven't played around in creating my own in a while.
Okay. And then what if you're a complete career changer and have no relevant experience to post on the LinkedIn?
Like I said, relevant experience, you can put volunteer. If you have volunteer, if you want to get engaged in a different thing, there are work opportunities, internships you can pursue. Talk to the local career force. We can find ways to get you more involved in that industry, or find ways to, break the ground to get your foot in the door and then build up your LinkedIn profile. So it might not be the perfect place to start. Maybe there's other avenues you can go and then build up your LinkedIn.
Okay. And then how does someone check their current status on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so that one, I believe you have to go in your settings. If you are an all-star, it doesn't tell you you're an all-star. So I haven't seen that since, it's 2014, I think, is when I became an all-star, somewhere back then. So having that all-star status, if it's not directly on your screen, usually it's, if I'm going off memory, it was on my right side of the screen that says you are an all-star status or you are in the process of it. I'll put a link inside the upcoming email regarding the all-star status and how to find it if you're not in an all-star status.
Okay. And then, do you have any recommendations for what type of AI to use? What source?
Play around with them. I don't use ChatGPT because I believe you get charged. So I use the basics that just require an email address. And I use Google Bard for some things. And then I'll use, Bing. I prefer Bing because it gives you more of a creative way. You can say, hey, I want exact, I want moderate or creative. So you can say, I want a creative way of saying this, and I want you to help me write an about me statement.
Okay. And this one goes back to the networking section. Is attending meetups a good choice for networking?
You know what? If it, as long as you know it's in a public space, yes, anyone can be important. There's a book out there about 10-second conversations, or never let someone drink coffee alone. Going to a coffee shop and seeing someone sitting down having a cup of coffee, just ask, hey, do you mind if I sit down and, share a seat with you? It can be a huge game changer because that takes courage and dedication. And, if they say no, then you just move on to the next one.
And then, Sam, what do you suggest for someone who's not limiting themselves to one industry?
You just that's a tough one because a lot of people that use LinkedIn are molded into a certain industry. But if I were you and they are transferable industries, like let's say manufacturing to construction or construction to labor, whatever industries you're doing. But if it's healthcare and construction, there are some transferable skills. You can say, hey, I'm just open to any opportunities in the about me statement or the summary, and let them know that you are available. Put out there, start reaching out to individuals and let them know that you are looking at their website. Reaching out and saying, hey, I'd love to have an introduction to this individual from past colleagues that you had. LinkedIn, you can do so much with this tool that it's really hard to really just tell you exactly what you can do without doing a demonstration. So if you need a demonstration or someone to look it over, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help.
And I think you kind of answered this question about standing out on LinkedIn when you're trying to enter a new industry with the transferable skills and
Yeah.
the other things you just mentioned. Okay.
Oh, another thing, you can follow those companies. You can follow speakers, presenters. So if you have a favorite job coach or motivational speaker you want to follow, you can get their information, come into your live feed so you can kind of see what's going on. Those articles, that is where the money's at for me, is going to the companies that you want to work at and trying to connect with those individuals before a job opens up. You're going to have better results.
Okay, we just have a few more questions, Sam, if you want to hang in
Perfect.
there. Okay. Do you know what the LinkedIn fee is per month?
Not offhand.
Okay.
With inflation, I'm guessing it's 10 plus.
Okay.
I've heard, maybe someone who's paying it can pipe in on the chat.
Okay. And then someone says that LinkedIn is asking them to share their most recent position to obtain all-star status, but they're not currently working. How do you fill that out?
If you have a recent position, it's just saying, where did you work? It's like writing on your resume. You put the job on there. You just say that you're open to work or explore new opportunities.
Okay. Someone's saying in the chat, you're so knowledgeable, you should just do a Q&A session.
I love that idea. I could do
Yeah.
that. A lot of people just do career exploration with me, and we break it down to where we have that brief conversation, and then we establish where that person needs the most assistance, and then we explore those opportunities, and it usually branches out from there. And all of our career forces do that. So hopefully you can find a local one. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help.
Is your career exploration class virtual, Sam, or is it in person?
Yes. So I can
Okay.
do virtual. I usually do it over Teams where I share my screen and then you can just follow along and you get to see where the mouse is going. I assist resumes. I can go into your LinkedIn. You know, you can share your screen and we can talk about it through your LinkedIn. So you're getting that hands-on experience that you need.
Okay. And then should one use Indeed and other job boards to compensate for the bias on LinkedIn?
So I have a bias on LinkedIn. You can tell. I prefer it. Indeed, I got a really bad feeling from Indeed a long time ago, and it's always been, you know, you can moderate. How do I want to put it? You can change the settings now on an Indeed. When I first jumped on Indeed, I was getting notifications from Kandahar. I was getting notifications from California, Mexico, Canada, wherever it was. I was getting all these notifications saying, hey, you should come work for me. And there were job opportunities that were too good to be true. LinkedIn, they're paying for that service, and you can verify the company is true and legit, who works there. It just gives me more confidence in myself as a job seeker to use LinkedIn as a tool or a platform like Minnesota Works because I know that those employers are vetted, that other people are invested in that company, so it's not going to turn around and cost me money in the end.
Okay, and this is a question about someone's specific profile. I recently tried updating some of my profile information from being a student to an alumni, and this requires the company section. I'm not looking to hire, I'm looking for employment. I graduated with a boiler engineer, which is not applicable to that section, and there's no drop-down menu to select from.
Yeah, that one I'm going to have to, you know, pass on to the next individual because that's a lot to unfold there. Where I would have to jump into your account and go through it. Reach out to me. We can schedule a time. It'd probably be next week, for sure.
Okay. And then in the summary or the about section, whatever it's called, if I'm looking for work, should I elevate that sentence paragraph to the top? I kept this at the end of my about section.
I would put it at the top. You know, I love to say this phrase because it's absolutely true. Sorry for those employers that are still on it, but employers are like goldfishes. People are like goldfishes. They remember the first 7 seconds, and then if it doesn't interest them, they move on. So in 7 seconds, you have to capture their attention. Same with writing a resume. So if you are interested in new work, relocating, whatever it may be, put it right at the top. Let them know, hey, I'm I'm not I'm invested in my career, not so much where I live. You know, unless you're trying to move up to like Winnipeg or where it's a little colder. But Sheila, how far do you live from Winnipeg? Is it like 2 hours?
Oh, it's about 4.
Oh, so
We're a
about
little
a day
further
drive for
north.
me.
Yeah. Okay, one last question, Sam. What are your feelings about ZipRecruiter and Glassdoor?
Every website, every industry will post on different job boards. Glassdoor could pull from this, ZipRecruiter could pull from this, LinkedIn could pull from this. And this is called the National Labor Exchange. LinkedIn uses the National Labor Exchange. Minnesota uses the National Labor Exchange. These are verified companies. If your industry or a company always posts on those websites, definitely use those. But for me, you know, Glassdoor is great because you can get interview questions that you want to address. You can see the wage. You can see about it. You can get peer support. It's crowdsourcing at its best. I love it. I think they just came out where there might be a charge where you have to like enter in a second job or third job that you've had. But yeah, the National Labor Exchange, as Sheila put in there, the link, perfect website just to explore different avenues. Google is also one of my top 5, I would say, job boards to use. And everyone's like, what is Google? Google, you use it every day to get to those job boards. Just put jobs near me in your Google search, and you'll see a table that populates. Blue, light blue is on mine. with 3 rows and then it says 100 plus more. Then you can narrow it down because Google will tell you where each one of those jobs are posted and who's posting it. So I like that feature.
Okay, Sam, I think you got them all.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sheila, for fielding all those questions. There are so many questions that we could address, I'm sure, on top of it. Thank you for joining us today. And remember, tomorrow from 1 to 2:30, we'll be hosting our interview workshop. And you can find that workshop and many more workshops on Career Force from Anywhere. And I think I threw that in the chat. Maybe I didn't. There it goes. All the relevant resources, links, and a copy of the slides. I think I have 3 tasks I gotta do. Read up on some articles. Will be sent out on an email associated to your Minnesota Works account. So make sure that Minnesota Works account, if you got here, you probably have the right email on there. Again, thank you for joining us today, and stay warm as we're experiencing some changes out there. All right, you have a great day. Thank you again for joining us.